We are on record. And we're going to go on Facebook right now.
Let me text Captain Ed.
He's going to
Hello.
try jump on.
Oh, you told him? Okay.
Yeah, and Uncle Lathan and our IBU friends.
Oh, thank you.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Namaku.
Oh, okay. I just checking my mic work.
Yeah,
Hello.
it's
Yes,
working.
sir.
Oh, okay, Lamaku, thank you. Your mic is working. We didn't talk about it earlier, but can you please start with Ma'oko Ahau?
Oh,
Sure, Auntie. Yes, Captain.
I don't know the. Okay.
Mahalo.
You're the best. I'm glad your mic is working. Thank you, man.
Oh, oh wait, breaking up. Nah. Okay, let me find them.
All right, gang, and we are live.
Oh,
Hey, aloha mai kako. Welcome to Waa Tales. We are live on Facebook as well as on our Zoom with our Halau Holomoana students. So if you're out there in Facebook world, aloha and welcome. We're going to start with our Mo'oku Auhau by Lamaku.
Mo'okua hao pa. O hokulea ka wahine o mau ke kane. Noho pulawa aloha amai. O makali'i he keiki he kiakahi. Holopu o makali'i I ka moana nui a kea. Aloha mai o kane honomoku ka pula he kiakahi. Ki aku ka maka I ka ālihi lani a uili mai ka mokula. O kualoa ka aina o kane hoalani ka pali nana e hi'i. I ke ala pono e holo aku ai a ho'i mai. Me ka ike o kou mua e kau mai nei. E mau mai ka ike a mau loa e.
Okay, mahalo lamaku. So again, aloha mai kako. It's so nice to see everyone. Mahalo to everyone that's here. We have our KVA crew, our current Halau Holomoana cohort, and our lineup of awesome presenters tonight on our Zoom. So aloha to all of you guys. And then we also have some people trickling in on our Facebook Live. So aloha to all of you guys. Right now, I'm going to send the mic over to Auntie Kahas to introduce our 4 awesome kane that are here tonight to talk story with us. Mahalo.
Okay, aloha, aloha again, and welcome to Waa Tales. So tonight we're featuring our alumni of Halau Holomoana, and we do have one Hanai alumni as well. And so we're so excited to have them here with us tonight. We have Duke, and I cannot see your guys' faces. So we have Duke out there. We have Kavaluna. We have Kona, and we have Kaipel. And so we're going to start off with, I think, Duke, because he is going to get ready to go to work. And so we have Duke Quitevis of Kaneohe. Was part of cohort 1, so our very first cohort back in 2014. And we're so excited, Duke, to have you with us and share a little bit about your story. Aloha.
hello. Oh yeah. Hello everybody. My name is Duke. I am from Kaneohe, just like Auntie Kala said. And I was very fortunate to be a part of the first cohort for Kanehunamoku Voyaging Academy, Halau Holomoana. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here working on the tugboat I'm on right now with young brothers. I was very fortunate to be able to come back from Cal Maritime, and I had a waiting period to take my tests. And during that period, I worked with Atikaz them, and it was regrounded. Um, just actually like reroute myself back into the Aina and back into the Hawaiian waters where it all started. And there, I studied for my test, and once I finished my test in September, I was able to apply for a spot on Young Brothers as an AB/cook. And since October, I've been sailing as an AB/cook, but they let me sail as second mate every now and then, whenever they need to fill in for people, and whenever they somehow don't get to fly back to work. Like right now, I'm supposed to be off, but this week, because of the polar vortex in the southern part of the United States, this guy got stuck and held up in Florida, so I had to sail and fill in for him as second mate on the Copeno Bob Purdy, which is the tugboat I'm on right now. I worked on three of the other tugboats that they have on the worked on first. Then I came here to the Bob Purdy, and then I went to the gym, not here, and then and currently I'm a casual worker, so you get bopped around wherever, basically on call, but it's fun because you get to learn all the different ways of how they tie up lines and how they run everything on the different boats. Like it's basically the same boat, but each captain likes to have things run a certain way, or the chief engineer likes to have certain rounds done his own way, and like things checked first over something else. But basically, if it wasn't for Kanehuna Moku, I wouldn't even be working and living my dream job here on the tugboats in the Hawaiian waters. So thank you, Atikahas, and everybody back at KVA and Halau Holomoana who helped pave the path for me. Because without you guys, I wouldn't be able to be living the dream that we all share. And hopefully, I can come visit you guys maybe next week. Yeah. Guys got any questions?
Yeah, that was awesome, Duke. I was just wondering, can you share a little bit about your college experience? Because I know you just recently graduated and you're already on this awesome job.
Yeah, definitely. So after Kanehuna Moku, I was thinking about going to Cal Maritime, and then Guile said he was going, and I wasn't really like ready to leave the rock, because everybody likes to say like, oh, I don't want to leave this rock, it's my home. But I mean, I stayed community college, and I did the best to make sure that I was actually ready to go to a university away from home, because if not, I would have just been going to like Tongue Point for a shorter training time, which is next year. I think a bunch of our other friends went there, their certification to work on the jobs they have right now. But for me, going to WCC, what it did was kind of help me to really understand the commitment it takes to go to a college school, and then that prepped me to go to a university away from home, and understand how important it is to make those relationships with the mentors and the counselors and the professors and even the tutors within your school, so that you can excel at that level. Because I'm not gonna lie, it was pretty rigorous. Once I went to Cal Maritime, I thought it was gonna be easy because my first classes were pretty much like general ed, and then after that I started taking real maritime courses like radar and radios, and they really like make sure and drill it into you that you know exactly how to monitor and how to operate all those different things, so that if an emergency were to occur, you're gonna be the one responsible for it, since you're on watch, and you're gonna be able to save those lives if anything were to happen, and you're also able to save other people's lives, because sometimes when you're underway, people might be in distress, and you might see a start or an EPIRB, which is fancy terms. I know some people might not know. Emergency radio gain and transponder, which that's probably a fancy device where it's like pinging something for, it's like pinging a sound from your radio, and then on the radio or on the radar you can be like, hey, I'm here, and then on the radar you can be like, oh, there's a distress at that location. So being able to know all these different terms and being able to dissect where the problem is while on watch is very helpful. You can save somebody's life, or you can help save your own life if there is an emergency on the way. So yeah, being able to understand where people can help and how you can help others, that was a very important lesson for me going away to school, because it helped me to stay grounded and reground myself after that when I came back. But yeah, is there another question? Sorry, I gotta leave soon, so that's kind of why I'm talking fast.
Yeah, mahalo, Duke. Yeah, just a reminder, Duke is actually at work, so he's on the boat right now. So let's ask this one last question and then we'll let him go. So we have a question in the chat right now, and it is, what is your best advice for younger generations?
Oh, I love this question, because before I used to hate that question where it's like, oh, what do you want to do in the next 5 years? Where do you want to be? Like, bro, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know like what I want to be, but do everything you love right now. Like, if you love doing I know work, go and find an organization where you can always be working. I know, go and find that nonprofit where you're gonna be working in the lo'i, or you're gonna be working in the local i'a. Or like Kupu, you can go and work at all of them at the same time, and you change every week, and you can find which one you really want to do. Or if you're like you're into like all kind of other hands-on stuff, to find those programs. Oh, sorry, hello. if you have like more hands-on type of, like, some of my friends liked woodworking, so they got all these tools and they started like making their own like dresses and stuff, and they started making their own like all these like little things like shop stuff. If you like working on like metal work, you can go and find programs where they'll actually pay you to go learn that, and then you can work for a real shop like the ones we have at the facilities, where they're always fixing our tools and everything we need, or the machines. So just do what you love now, because you'll never be able to do it later when you actually have to start working, and then you'll figure out where you want to go and how you want to start planning your future path and working. But yeah, anything else for you guys?
I think that was awesome. Mahalo for sharing that. Doing what you love it. Yeah. Okay. Mahalo, Duke. I'll let you go back to your job, get back to work. And yeah, mahalo for spending time with us. That was awesome. Okay.
Thank you.
Mahalo. Okay, so the next person I'm going to be introducing, my brother Kona Fairburne. If you know him, you know, and if you don't know him, you'll soon know that he can talk your ear off all day, all night. So I'm just gonna let him introduce himself.
Well, it's hard to follow that introduction, especially after listening to Duke, man. We call him President Duke. You guys will soon get to meet him as well. Like Malu said, my name is Kona Fairburne. I'm a 2015 Hockey Pu'u graduate, so charter schools all day. I was in the second cohort for Halau Holomoana. I'm currently working for Manson Construction out in the Gulf. So that's my position. I'm an AB, a deckhand, and a QMed. I'm an engineer. So I run both positions for them. I've been with them for about 2.5 years now, and I'm kind of loving every minute. A little bit about my story and myself is I started out in Ko'olaupoko. I was working with Hockey Pu'u for a long time. I was there for 7 years, and I heard about the program through the kind of grapevine we have with the Va'a community. I begged and pleaded to be on the first cohort, but Auntie Kaz wanted her select proud few. I didn't make the cut. So it was definitely a experience to hear about from the first cohort. And then it was a super great privilege to be a part of the second. I know a lot of you guys now are just missing out on a lot of few things that we got to enjoy, but with everything kind of getting better out there, I hope you guys get to enjoy it soon. So the 2015 cohort, we got to go finish the second half of the first cohort sail. So we went down south to the lower islands. So yes, we got to do that part. What else happened? So I was actually kind of in my career path, I wasn't thinking about going maritime until after joining Halau Holomoana. I thought I was going to be a firefighter. I was through and through going to sign up for HFD and do everything that course. But after being inside of Halau Holomoana and the opportunities that Auntie Cause and Auntie Loyal them kind of presented to us, being there, kind of touring the different career options with the Coast Guard, with Matson, with Young Brothers, with doing the ride along with Foss, and getting to meet Captain Ed and a lot of the great captains like Captain Kaipel, and just kind of talking with them. You really try to find a passion for being on the water. So I found that passion on like day one of our cohort, and definitely fell in love with what we do. After our sail, a lot of me and my classmates kind of took a intro class to Tongues Point. It's a Job Corps program out in Astoria, Oregon. I'm sure Auntie Cause and Auntie Loyal have told you guys all about it. It's an awesome program. It's really strict. It kind of builds a good foundation for yourself. We all applied. I was able to go in 2017. I graduated in 18 months and been working ever since. It's a great program just to get your credentials, your Coast Guard credentials, get your foot in the door, and kind of just start a career path debt free. I mean, if it was free, it was for me. So I was definitely glad to go there because, like I'm saying, like you get free schooling, you get free living, they pay for your flights back and forth from the islands, and it's just a real fast-paced program. So it's all at your own pace. You test every week. If you pass, you move on. If you fail, you do it again until you succeed. So it definitely gives you the tools to kind of get out there in the industry. Unfortunately, you don't walk out with a mate's license like our guys at Cal Maritime do. They're in charge of Duke's in charge of me. So I definitely got to answer to his calls. It's definitely experience to go there. I definitely recommend it if you're not thinking like you're ready for the college route, but you're ready to kind of get out there and just get your hands dirty. I would recommend Tongues Point. So I got my deck license, my AB, and my engineering license with Tongues Point. And with that, I applied at Matson Construction. They're a hopper dredge outfit. So we basically dig channels and kind of create the waterways for the Matson ships and other barges and stuff to go through. My main kind of work locations is like Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Florida. That's kind of where our boats mainly kind of work out of. We got three boats. The Glen Edwards, it's the second biggest hopper dredge in America. The Newport, which is the one I work on, and the Bayport. So we're a smaller outfit, but we're definitely keeping up with the big boys out on the continent. So it's definitely a different experience kind of working out in the States. You meet a lot of interesting people, to say the least, a lot of Southerners and all kinds of people you guys can think of. So definitely a cool experience. I definitely owe a lot to Kaneonamoku and what Auntie Kazem did for me, because they definitely set me on the path that I am. Like, you guys hear this from everybody you're going to talk to after attending Halau Holomoana, and us guys that are in the Maritimes, that this program definitely set us on the path that we're on. They gave us the guide, the tools, the guidelines, and kind of everything that we needed to figure out that this is what we wanted to do, and this is where we want to go with ourselves. And I mean, it's a great career choice. It's an awesome schedule. And I mean, who can't have fun when you're on the water all day?
Awesome. Mahalo. Yeah, it's super awesome. Not only having Kanaka here in Hawaii on the water, but also having Kanaka on the continent. So mahalo for sharing that. I just have one kind of fun question for you. What's your favorite memory or mo'olelo from being on the ship you work on now?
The ship that I work on now, I guess it's kind of, that's definitely a good question. I think the food, the mo'olelo is definitely the food. Like we have a really good cook on board. He cooks three hot meals a day, and he kind of makes whatever you want. So it's definitely a treat having a cook that will wash your dishes, basically just cook your breakfast, anything you want. I mean, usually Sundays are pancakes, Wednesdays are waffles, and you can kind of pick and choose whatever you want in between. Kind of the cool experiences that I've had was a hopper dredge. Our class is a split hull. So it's basically, if you think about it, it's a boat, like a pontoon boat that can split in half. So it's always an experience. When I first got on there, we were on dry dock for the first 3 weeks I was working. And then I did a tour back at home. I got to come home for 3 weeks, and I'm back on the vessel. And so as we were working, it was my first load we just finished. We put about 3,000 cubic yards of sand in our hopper hull, and we had to split open. And it's definitely a chilling experience when you're on a 360-foot boat that kind of just splits in half, and you're watching just sand and the ocean kind of just come out from under you, and you raise about 20 feet high. So that experience was definitely mind-blowing. It's always a treat, even though after 2 years, it's kind of still hits you in a different way, just watching the hull split in half, open up, and then kind of close back right back to digging.
Yes, that is crazy. I just have one more question, Kona. I think you kind of went over it a little bit earlier, but I have a question here that says, how often do you get to travel home?
Oh, so I work a 3 week on, 3 week off rotation. So I'll be at work on the ship for 3 weeks. I'll work at 12 hours every day for those 3 weeks. We're there, we're living on the ship. We don't get off, we're working that whole time. So we're on board for 3 weeks, and then they fly me home for my 3 weeks home. So I do it 21 days on the ship, and I got 21 days off the ship. And it's definitely cool because they take care of all of your flights and all that kind of logistics. So you just go check in, you go check out, go to work, come back home, and enjoy 3 weeks of being home. It's definitely an awesome schedule. I know Duke works like a month on, month off. So it's definitely a schedule that you can't really beat.
Yep. One more question, Kona, because I can ask you. I have one from Auntie Loya that says, what do you do when you're off for 3 weeks?
Usually right after I get off the boat, I go on another boat. I got myself a little boat, so I'll play on that. I'll try to sneak myself onto the canoe or on voyages every chance I get. But definitely after spending time on the water, you just kind of want to get home and kind of spend a lot of time with family, see friends, kind of see everybody that you don't get to see. You make kind of a lot of time just to spend time with your grandparents and your mom and that kind of stuff. But I definitely spend a lot more time on the water than I should. But I come off the boat onto another boat.
Yeah, small flex. Mahalo for sharing. Kona. That's awesome. I hope you guys learned a lot from Kona. He talks a lot, so I hope you picked all that stuff out of there. Mahalo, Kona, for being here and for spending some time with us.
Anytime, guys. Nice to catch up with you guys.
Action. Mahalo. I'm kind of liking this hosting microphone. I can ask whatever questions I like. But right now I'm going to give it back to Auntie Kahas to introduce our next speaker.
Okay, mahalo, Kona. Don't forget, you're supposed to take us out to lunch when you come home.
Whenever you get the call, let's go. I'm ready to whenever you are.
Awesome. Mahalo nui for sharing your stories with us.
Yes.
Next, we're going to go to Kavaluna Spinney, who is here in Hawaii. He's home, and he works for PNR Water Taxi, and he's been doing some amazing trips up to the Kupuna Islands in Papahanaumokuakea, and excited to learn more about his adventures and what he's been doing in the industry. Aloha, Kavaluna.
Aloha mai kako, Kavaluna ko inoa, no Kalavahine mai. Aloha, my name is Kavaluna. I live in Kalavahine. Yeah, like Auntie Kala said, I work for PNR Water Taxi. I work part-time at Pier 36 in Honolulu, part-time at Kewalo, part-time on tugboats. So PNR Water Taxi, there's 3 different companies: PNR Water Taxi, PNR Water Taxi Pier 36, and PNM Tugboats. I kind of work part-time everything, and then I also work on an offshore supply ship called the Imua, which we go up to the Northwest Hawaiian Islands, Midway, Kure, Pearl and Hermes, French frigate Souls, all of the above. I've been doing that for about 3 years now. I started in 2018 after I graduated high school at Halau Holomoana. I joined Halau Holomoana 2017, was cohort 4, I believe. Papukolea. I first heard about Kanehunamoku when I was going to school at Halau Holomoana in 6th grade. They had Kanehunamoku up on dry dock. It was like towards our 3rd quarter. They came to dry dock at Halau Holomoana. After the school was done, or every day after school, they asked students if they wanted to help. I was one of those students. I think I went there a couple times throughout the week. I remember sanding, lashing at the end, and
I think Kavaluna is temporarily frozen. We'll see if he, oh. Okay, well, while we're waiting for Kavaluna to come back in, does anybody have questions? Kavaluna, are you back?
hello.
Oh, here
Yes, I'm
it is.
back. Hello.
Okay, right
Oh,
on.
sorry.
Keep
Okay,
going, keep
where
going.
did I leave off?
French
You're
frigate
at dry
shows,
dock.
I think.
Oh,
Oh, dry
okay,
dock, dry
yeah.
dock, dry dock. Sorry, dry dock. Dry dock.
Dry dock, yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, so Kanehunamoku came to Halau Holomoana dry dock. I helped them a couple times throughout the week, sanding, varnishing, lashing. I remember Rusty was there telling me about Kanehunamoku and what everything he did and sailing. So I was kind of excited and stoked for going to 7th grade, which was Papava'a. But that year they changed it around, and in 9th grade was Papava'a. So I had to wait a couple more years. And in 9th grade came around, we did our training on Kanehunamoku, sailed back and forth, learned how to sail, how to use the winds, how to use the stars a little bit. And then at the end of our 9th grade year, we got to do a trip on Makani'olu for 5 days. We were the first class to do that. We left Kaneohe Bay. We left Hawaii up here, went down to, we went to Maui, Hana, cruise around there, sail around. And then that was my first time sailing to any other island. Before, I would go with my dad, who is a captain on tugboats, and we do inter-island transits. And I've been doing that since I was 8 years old with him. But sailing through the channels, using wind, that was the first time. Using wind and stars, that was my first time. I loved it. I fell in love with that. And then Auntie Kaha's told me about the Halau Holomoana program. 11th grade, I signed up for that. And then rest is history. Now I'm working at PNR Water Taxi, going up to the Northwest Hawaiian Islands. I don't know if that's too long. I kind of like talked off over there a little bit. Is there any questions, I guess?
That's awesome, Kavaluna. I love hearing about all of that and all those adventures. And you also do runs to Johnston Atoll, correct? Uh-oh. The other thing I wanted to ask, Kavaluna, oh,
Sorry,
there
hello.
he's back on. Okay, I wanted to ask you because I think you guys just had you did a voyage for work, and you also had two
Mhm.
other Halau Holomoana alumni on board. You want to share a little bit about that trip?
Oh yes. So that trip happened last October. We had Guile, who was cohort 1 of Halau Holomoana, and then Mahie, who was in my cohort. Um, she wasn't on.
Uh-oh, we lost Kavaluna in the dark over there. Let's see if he comes back on.
Hello. Am I
Okay, you're
back?
back. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah, so we had uh Guile, myself, and Mahie. Wait, where did I leave off before I got cut out?
That's good.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so myself, Guile, Mahie. Mahie was a part of Fish and Wildlife. Uh we con they contract us to charter them up to the Northwest Hawaiian Island. They do marine debris cleanup, so she was a part of that crew. Um we were up there for about a week or so. They collect trash that wash up on the island, that hinders life, like that endangers life up there, like the sea turtle, the leatherback sea turtle, or something like that. Our albatross, our koae, um, yeah, and then all of our native seabirds. So we brought back almost 4 tons of trash that was piling up on the island. We also went up to Kure, gathered some of their trash, but it all equaled up to about 4 tons of trash we brought back.
Awesome. How was it to sail with Guile and Mahie again?
Oh, it was nice. It was nice to see Mahie. I haven't seen her in a long time. Guile, he's our third mate on the Imua, so I see him almost every trip. Um, he's a funny guy to talk to, especially on the night watches. Uh, yeah, great guy.
Awesome. Awesome. Do we have any questions for Kavaluna? Let's see. What was your most favorite job you worked?
Oh, I have to say, last November, we went down to Johnston Atoll. It's 1,000 miles south of Honolulu, and this one we had to stay there a little bit longer than we usually do. We're usually down there for a week and a half, 2 weeks. This time we stayed there for 5 weeks. Um, we had to, so they have a team that goes down there. They stay down there, do research on native birds, and they have to eradicate this invasive species called yellow crazy ants that's eating all the birds. So they have to eradicate that. That's coming to an end after 25 years they've been on the island. And we had to clean up their stuff, gather all of their equipment, load it up onto our boat, and yeah, we cruised on there for 5 weeks. It was just the us 19 of us on an island. We got to do whatever we wanted to do, bike around the island, swim, snorkel. Um, the only thing that was the most memorable part is our return home. Coming from south to north is it's not most ideal direction to go during the winter time because of our northeast swells and our trade winds. So this trip we had 20-foot seas, 60-mile winds going right into it.
Oh, we are right to the good part. Kavaluna. The suspense, Santi Maya writes in the chat. Okay, wow, that sounds really exciting, Kavaluna. Oh, he's back. Okay,
Sorry.
rest of the story.
Where did I leave off?
20-foot swells, right on the
Yes.
nose.
Okay. Yeah, 20-foot seas right on the nose, 60 mile-an-hour winds. We're coming back. It usually takes us 3 days to come home. This one took us 5.5 days. Yeah, things flying everywhere. People staying in their rooms.
Oh,
Yeah.
awesome. Wow. I guess that's the other side of it, right? It's not always smooth sailing. Sometimes the weather is rough and sometimes the job is hard. But that's really exciting, Kavaluna. All these beautiful places you get to go to that very few people in their lifetimes will ever see, places like Midway or Curie or, Pearl and Hermes, all these beautiful islands. So you're seeing things that most people will never see in their whole life. And you're getting paid to do it. How's that,
Yes.
right? How is that? That's awesome. Okay, do we have any more questions for Kavaluna? Auntie Loyal says, go upgrade your internet with all the money you're making. Okay, maybe we can encouraging. Do you have any encouraging words for future mariners, future seamen? And that is from Auntie Kalei Mahiai. What are your words of wisdom to the next generation?
Oh, wow. I remember asking that question when I was in Halau Holomoana. Um, I mean, I gotta go back to what Duke said. Yeah, do what you love. I love this job. I go out to sea, and then for a couple weeks at a time, I come back and I've spent time with family and friends, but I want to get back out there. That's where I thrive. That's where I feel like myself. Something else like, yeah, do what you love and find a way to get paid for doing what you love. Just to add on to Duke.
Yeah. Awesome. But I love it. That's where you feel your best, is out there on the ocean. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Okay, mahalo Kavaluna. Don't leave. We might have more questions for you after, but I'm going to turn it back to Malu, and she's going to introduce our next guest.
Okay, mahalo. And there's also super good questions for you, Kavaluna, after, so don't leave. Okay. So the next person I'm going to introduce, last but not least, is Kaipel Schultz. He's actually a Hanai alumni. We need to make a hat or something because that just sounds good. But he is a skilled laborer at a Morisco shipyard, and he can tell you guys more about that. But he's going to be talking about his journey. So mahalo, Kaipel.
Aloha. My name is Kaipel. I'm from Waimanalo. And my cousin Kaya actually took the class, Halau Holomoana, and he had nothing but good things to say about the program. And at the time, I just came back from college, took 1 year, played baseball. I didn't go to school I went to play baseball. And in order to play baseball or play anything extra curricular, you need to go to school. And that school wasn't just wasn't for me. So he was just enrolled in the Halau Holomoana class, and he was telling me he was doing this, and he's seen a path, like a career for him. And I was kind of skeptical at first, and he kind of explained it to me and kept telling me about it. I didn't have the opportunity to go to Halau Holomoana because it wasn't available when I was in high school. So I took the maritime class. It's a introduction to maritime industry, and I fell in love with it. And to this day, I always tell Kyle, I appreciate him and everything. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have chosen this career path. I don't know where I would have been today if it wasn't for this program that allowed him to take advantage of making a better life for him and his family, you know. So I took the class and I fell in love, and I didn't know what to do after. There's different career paths, like Cal Maritime, going back to college. That kind of scared me. I'm more hands-on learning. So the route I took was Tongue Point. I actually went there with Kona. And took me 20 months to complete the program. I got ABQ Med. Came back home, you know, and kind of just came lax and enjoyed my time at home and applied for jobs. And there was a hiccup in the road, but I didn't let it stop me. I had a passion for the maritime industry, and being on the water is not the only option in the maritime industry. You know, anything that has to do with boats is I would consider being in the maritime industry. And I got this job. It didn't I didn't need my AB or Q Med. It was a tour boat job. So I worked that for about a year, and we got laid off due to COVID. So then after that, I didn't know what I was gonna do. I was kind of stuck, and a job opportunity came from Auntie Loyo and Uncle Kaipel. They told me about a shipyard. It's called Marisco, and that's where I work today. And when I went to Tongue Point, I wanted to be an engineer. I learned about engineering, and I fell in love with that hands-on kind, using tools and, you know, using tools to do your job, hands-on type stuff. So I enjoyed being an engineer. And today I work as a mechanic at Marisco Shipyard. It's out in Campbell Industrial. So like everyone said, just love what you do what you love. Okay. And I love the maritime industry. I love that working on boats. I love that you can, for me, I feel like I go to work and I learn every day, and you can take that skill and put it in your real life, you know. Use what you learn every day to put it in your life, and you guys will be good. Pretty much it.
Mahalo. Awesome.
Any questions?
Mahalo.
I'm a little nervous.
Awesome. Mahalo nui. And I just like to point out that we heard from the boys that talked before Kaipel, and they're all on the water. And Kaipel is actually on land in the shipyards on Oahu, so he doesn't have to be on the ocean. So that just shows how broad the maritime industry is, and you don't have to be on the va'a or on the boat if you don't want to. There's also jobs in the shipyard, like how Kaipel was saying.
I would like to add, when I was in Tongue Point, I got a job offer to go to Alaska to fish, and it's a week and a half or a month and a half actually. It's a seasonal job position, and from the first year, I think it was 2018 or so, I went 2 more years after that. So 3 total years I spent in Alaska fishing. And to me, I seen that, like, when you go to Alaska, you're not gonna have local people. You know, you can go away and you're not gonna have that local, that ohana that you feel, you know, when you're here. Everyone's, because when you're in this industry, like, this is your job. This is everyone's career. You know, if you're not producing, or if you're not to your 100%, everyone else feels like you're messing with their opportunity to make money. You're not striving. You got to be 100% committed to everything. And I feel like that's important for you guys to know, you know, like, it all comes back to, you got to love what you do. Okay. And going to Alaska is like, everyone thinks, well, it's like deadliest catch, but there's different parts of Alaska, you know, there's different waters inland, and like Dutch Harbor, where they go fish for crab, everything's all frozen and big seas. But where we went, it wasn't too bad. wasn't rough or anything, but because I've experienced rough seas out here. I went on Makaniolu, and we actually went out to Nihoa and Mokumanamana, and like who was the last guy, Kavalu or something? Who the last guy? Like he went to the Northwestern Hawaiian Islands. Not a lot of people get to do that. If you guys ever have an opportunity to do that, do it. Drop everything, anything you guys got, unless it's a family emergency, to take that opportunity, because not a lot of people ever get. Nobody does that, goes to those islands.
Yeah, definitely crazy opportunities. Awesome.
Yeah.
Mahalo for sharing that. I'm seeing in the comments that Tika's put 100% commitment. Of course,
Yes.
that's what she says in the chat. But mahalo for sharing, Kaipel. And I have one question. I see Kamalani Smith put most challenging thing you faced.
The most challenging thing I faced, admitting my bump in the road. I don't really want to share it, and people know on here about it, but just admitting to I was wrong, owning up to my wrongs is probably owning up to it. Made me. I feel like I've grown as a person because I've owned up to what happened, and nothing that anything happens can change what the result was. And I feel like that's what my biggest challenge was.
Awesome. Mahalo. Yeah, mahalo. That was such a powerful story. And then also at the beginning, when you were saying that Kahiao, your cousin, actually did HH, and you weren't in the program, and that shows that not only is our HH alumni benefiting from this awesome work, but even everyone else that is in the ohana.
And
so mahalo for sharing that.
Before Kahiao told me about this industry, I never knew about it, and just these kind of programs bring knowledge to younger people that it's there. You guys want it, go get it. You guys can get it.
Yeah, normalizing kanaka in the maritime industry. Awesome.
Yes.
Mahalo nui, Kaipel. Yeah, mahalo. I'm going to send the mic back over to Auntie Kahas.
Okay, mahalo.
Yeah, mahalo, Kaipel. That's wonderful. I love your story of growth. We don't always follow the straight path, and sometimes our path takes us all kind the road, yeah. But always know that you can come home and there's support, and that I feel that that's really true for all of our Kanehuna Moku crew, from even before we had Halau Holomoana, that Kanehuna Moku has always been a safe place for everybody to come home to. And so mahalo for sharing. And I'm so excited that you're at the shipyard. That sounds super cool.
I enjoy my job. I love my job. I like getting up every morning and going. Every day is something different. And that's what I like. That's what I like about it. And you learn skills that you can apply to your real life. And it's not only in the shipyard. You can learn it anywhere, like for knots, for instance. You learn knots in KVA and you go camping with your family, and you gotta tie down something. You learn how to do that. You can everything you do, you gotta learn and apply it to your life. And that's what I learned.
And how old are you, Kaipel?
26.
Hey,
I'm
right
old.
on.
Yes.
Doing very well, young man. Doing very well. We're very proud of you. Okay, I know we have a couple of questions here in the chat. I think one of them is for Kavaluna. Uncle Leighton wants to know if you've seen plenty malolo out there.
Yes. Yeah. How's it, Uncle? Yeah, Malolos everywhere, especially getting close to the atolls, and the mounds. They're everywhere, and then it's kind of a sign that there's choke there too.
Wonderful. Okay, I'm just kind of scanning here if there's any more questions in the chat or any questions on our Facebook Live. All right. Okay. I don't see any questions right now, but I wanted to ask Uncle Kaipel if I could put you on the spot, Uncle, and see if you have any manao for these awesome guys that are out there and working. And it's kind of so great to see what we put into motion years ago is happening.
I'm so proud of all of you guys, and the reason why we teach, we create schools, we establish training academies from the Kumu site, from the staff. When you folks leave, or before you even get in class, we go through a lot to make sure you are taken care of, trained, and then when you leave, we follow. So all of the students and every student that went through every training schools we have in Honolulu, Kanehuna Moko Maramed, Waianae Maritime Academy, all of your teachers, if you can hear me now, all the students, all the Haumana who are listening now, that we never forgot you. We never, for any minute, because we have so many adopted kids that we worry about you. And the only way you can pay us back, really, and it's the first time Uncle will ever say this, is to get up when you fall down. And learn not to fall down from when you fall down, and not to do that again. So whether you're a chief engineer, a engineer at Morisco, a dealing with cow to the boats, go down there and paint the ships for another company. There are so many different companies associated to one vessel that we need all of you, no matter where it is. But we at Kanehuna Moku want to get you folks on into the jobs that gives you a sustainable living wage, so that when we associate a name with the industry and the vessel, there's some tie to Hawaii. There's some tie to our moku here, that what we did was not in vain. I have sons of fathers, sons of mothers that are sailing now after their parents retired. So all Uncle can say is treat the cook good, and listen to what your captain tell you, because it is important. If you don't, you get chaos. And in our lives as a merchant mariner, you can't have chaos. And one of the things Uncle took notes was knots. You know, you go camping, you put on one tent, the tent fall down. They're gonna ask who in tie this, who in put this up, or something fly off the truck. Or you guys lose a generator over the side going down to Johnson Island. They're gonna ask who in latch that down. So not only do a knot, do it correctly. And if you do not know, find out. You're gonna see places, you're gonna get into industries that you never thought. You see them only on TV. You know, Kaipel, I'm really proud of you, man, for all you've been through. And people don't know what a gem Morisco is, and how many lives he's taking care of, how many children went to college because their parent worked at a shipyard in an unforgiving environment, eating dust, paint, going into voids you wouldn't send nobody into. So I commend you, Kaipel, and all the different types of vessels, supply vessels, ships, tugs, pleasure craft, all of these things for our Haumana and for those of you who want to get into this industry. You need to follow a path that you know. When we voyage, we come home to tell a story. And if you don't hear the story or we hear a funny kind of story from somebody else, don't listen to that. You go find the true story, and then you go call a person they told you call. Don't go call the uncle, brother, auntie, or sister. If somebody tell you call Auntie Bonnie, call her. You get the scoop and you go scoop. And last thing is don't be afraid to leave Hawaii. Because Hawaii, ain't going no place. If you can't move, Maui would move something, well, I don't know what, but you cannot move the islands. They're always gonna be there. Uncle know that now for a fact, living in Las Vegas over here, that where Hawaii is where it is. It's the people. So you guys, all you and Kona, I have your picture over here. I took them when we went 2017. You was a little bit more skinny. I know you get good cooks, but you guys get exercise room on a boat. You know the stuff going around and around with paddles. Get on top of that treadmills. You gotta stay healthy to enjoy and reap what you sow. So again, watch a cook, keep him happy. But then again, watch your weight. And everybody, Bonnie, Kanihuna Moku, all of the teachers out there, the mentors, Uncle Layton, Ed, every one of those guys, we look and we watch. We may not say nothing, but we're gonna ask. We call, we know people, and we're gonna find out where you stay and what you do. So do us a favor, take care of your health, that is paramount. Because if you're not healthy, you can work. And if you're not healthy, you're nothing to your family. So you take care of your stuff, study, do the time, and test. That's all Uncle tell you.
Mahalo, Uncle. Thank you so much for that. I see Uncle Layton just jumped on. Uncle, before I'm gonna ask you to say a few words, but before you do and we close out this evening, I just want to also acknowledge our other alumni that are out there on the water tonight. So Duke's probably leaving the harbor just about now, maybe. And then we have Hiley Robinson, also from cohort 2 with Kona. She is on a vessel right now as third mate. And they're somewhere like around 40 south or so. And she's working for Scripps University on the research boat. And then we have Kahiao Pivi Aloha Hong that's out there. And he is off the coast of Saipan, I think, somewhere on a SIU ship. And then Gaio McGurn from Maui, cohort 1. I believe he's night mating tonight. Otherwise, he should be here. But, yeah, but these guys are out there and they're working. And I think, did I catch all of them, Loyal? Did I miss somebody? I think that's all of them. And to everybody that's in school, we still have Mahi'ai out there at Tunks Point. We got Kalani at CMA. Nanea is at SIU. So they're all away right now. And so just like Uncle said, we're always thinking about you folks. Keep you guys in our hearts and prayers. And yeah, mahalo. I just love it. I could listen to stories like this endless. But we do need to wrap up. So I wanted to ask our board president, Uncle Layton, if you had a few words for our students and our wonderful alumni of this program.
My guy, aloha.
Aloha.
You know, our life, we depend on the ocean. We know that. Kanaka mo'ole. We always depend on our food, transportation, everything comes in by bulk on the ships. That's our life, and we're going to depend on. We depend 92% of imports. That's where the job is. And our local children are so natural to the ocean. Just like Uncle Kaipo, you, myself, you know, we, from kids, we swim, we surf, paddle canoe. It's in our koko, it's in our blood. But we need to carry the tradition to a different level and a higher level. I started the same way like any Kanaka, on the bottom. went from wiper to chief engineer to senior port engineer because that salt water was in my cocoa. First, you gotta love the ocean. You gotta love your job. And when you become a sailor moku, it's in you. You eat it, you sleep it, and you learn from it. And what you learn is lokahi. You learn unity because on the ship, you family. And to keep that ship afloat, you are one. You got the cook, you got the navigator, you got the engineer. We all work as a family. And that's the most important thing on a vessel is to be together. I've been on ships where it's a little bit hoo-hoo and it becomes a problem. But that's normally because of racism. We're fortunate with Kanaka Maoli, we don't have that problem. I used to sail out of the deep south on U.S. line ships, half black, half white. Oh, but I lucky, I was Kanaka. Both sides liked me, so I had no problem. A lot of these things that most of us don't see is what happened in different parts of the world or different parts, or working on different ships with different companies for different districts. But us locals, we are blessed. We can get along with anybody. When you get along with anyone on a ship, you're going to climb. And when you climb, you're going to be so proud of yourself, your family will be proud of you. Like Uncle Kaipel, that we started off on the bottom. I started off as a wiper, Uncle Kaipel, ordinary seaman. And we worked our way up because we loved it. And we wanted our family to be proud, and we wanted ourselves to be good. Plus the money good too. They got to throw that in. So you have to enjoy it. You take it inside you, enjoy it. Enjoy the job, enjoy the education, and because you're Kanaka, you got that extra spiritual value of Kanaloa. You might not know it, because no one teaches you it. You're not going to learn it until you're older, until you get that salt water into your brain, into your veins. Then you're going to know you're going to be part of that Kanaloa, part of the ocean. And that's who we are. As Polynesian people are ocean people. You might not show up while you're growing up, but once you get in touch with, in tune with it, you're going to feel them. And that's when you grow. You become a mate, you become an engineer, and work your way up to captain or port captain or anything doing the waterfront. That's us. That's in our cocoa, the ocean, Polynesia. But I want to thank Uncle Kaipel and Bonnie and all the people out there who's out there to help to educate the young to understand the maritime industry. We depend on 92% import. Remember that. 92%. Everything comes in on the containers. So that's where you go. You go where the job is, where the money is, and you go where you're able to take care of your family. But also, you gotta love what you do. Selamoku is not that easy. You gotta get into your cocoa, like I said. But waterfront is us. That's us. All our life, we depend on import. And that's what we need to educate the younger generation to understand, to show them the waterfront, to point the finger down, go on the mouth or look down. You see all that harbor over there? That's your food. 92% import. That's where you want to go. That's where the Kala state, the job is, your retirement is, your health plan is, everything. But study hard, think about it, and be serious. The sooner you get your pala all set up, your paperwork in place, you can move. Get your CMS documents, you work your way up to mate or engineer. Don't just stick around ordinary seaman or wiper. You work your way up and study, but there's a lot of time out in the ocean you can study. And there's a lot of help because the ship is the school. The ship is the school. That's where that's the heartbeat right there. You live in it, you read about it, you work on it, you eat on it. That's the school. Okay.
Hey, awesome. Mahalo, Uncle Leighton. I love all of those things you shared and Uncle Kaipel shared. to close us up. Definitely good with all those wonderful words of wisdom, and just getting in touch with Kanaloa and why the ocean calls to so many of our young people and how we can help them make their way on the ocean and around the ocean. So thank you guys so much. I'm gonna pass it over to Malu to close us up, the hostess of tonight.
Yes, mahalo. So again, mahalo to our 4 boys that got to talk story with us, and as well as our other alumni that was trying to be here, but of course they're working. So mahalo to all of you guys. Mahalo to our uncles that came to talk story with us. It's always nice hearing your guys' mo'olelo and your words of encouragement. And mahalo to all of our students that are here tonight, that are listening and hopefully taking notes. And mahalo to everyone that's on our Facebook Live. We hope you guys heard a lot of good mo'olelos and had a good evening, and mahalo for sharing your evening with us. With that, final mahalo, and have a good one. Ahui ho. We'll see you at the next Waa Tales.
Aloha.
Aloha.
Mahalo nui, everyone.
Night,
Thanks, uncles.
Mahalo, uncles.
Go Hamana.
Mahalo nui, uncles. Mahalo nui, everybody.
Mahalos. Thank you, everybody.
Mahalo. Okay, I buy the first round.
Go! Nah.
Oh,
You-
yeah.
I said late.
Yo.
Mahalo
You're
for
right.
joining, Haumana. We will get in touch with you tomorrow with an email of updates of our program. Remember, we do need to continue to practice social distancing. You will receive your forms to start or begin your self-monitoring forms. We have our Ohana leadership projects next week, Wednesday. So get those forms done. Make sure that your Ohana is doing those forms, because we need to be mindful of the safety of everyone. So with that, mahalo nui. You guys are welcome to log off. Enjoy, Haumana.
Yo, alamu pono.
Right on, uncles.
Mahalo,
Bye.
Peyton. You go call Auntie tomorrow.
Yeah.
Buenas. Thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you,
Huyo.
everybody.
Aloha.
Awiho, Navin. I'm gonna try to get these guys out. Have a good one,
Oh, they're coming
Peyton.
back. The kids are coming back.
I know, man. I gotta lock the room. There we go. Who and sneak back in?
Come on.